Giants and Youth is a Russian story. In Russian folk tales, there are many stories in which giants and young people are the main characters. Once upon a time, the vast expanses of the Russian land were inhabited by terrible giants. His name is Volvik. Coming from the land of giants, Volvik was frightening people over mountains, through forests, across rivers. He was so big and powerful that no one could stand up to that giant. One day, a young boy named Ivan went deep into the forest to look for food for his family. Ivan loved his family and had a kind heart, so he had the courage to not give in to any difficulties. Walking through the forest, he heard a strange sound. It was a loud footstep that made the ground tremble. Ivan timidly followed the source of the sound. Over time, Ivan found the giant Volvik in the forest. Volvik pulled out a tree and threw it into a mountain, damming the river. Ivan was surprised by its strength, but he did not run away and stood on the spot. Volvik looked at Ivan and said with a smile, "What are you doing in a place like this?" Even though he is a small person, he would stand in front of me without fear. Ivan was not frightened in the slightest, looked back at the giant, and replied, "I came looking for food to feed my family. That's all." "But why scare people when you have so much power?" Volvik laughed invincibly and said, "Those who have power should be feared. I intend to rule this world with this power." Said, "It is easy for those who have power to instill fear and dominate. However, you cannot live happily in a world where everyone is afraid. If you use your power to help people and live in peace together, wouldn't it be a better world?" The giant thought for a moment. Then, after a long silence, he sighed softly. Ivan thought silently for a while, but eventually made up his mind. Wouldn't it be better to live with people with wisdom and compassion, rather than ruling the world by force alone? Volvik was surprised, squinted his eyes, and looked at Ivan. "What are you going to say to me?" Ivan continued quietly. "You're quite smart for a small person. But I only know the power of fear." Ivan smiled gently and said, "Still, there must be kindness and compassion in your heart. Find it and use it with other people, and great things will surely happen." Hearing these words, Volvik thought silently for a while. And finally he nodded. "You're right. I'll not just instill fear, I'll use that power to do better." Since then, Volvik has changed his power and started using it to help people. They began to use giant trees to protect villages and prevent disasters, and the villagers gradually became less afraid. Ivan then brought back a lot of food to feed his family, and lived peacefully with the villagers. And Ivan became friends with the giant Volvik, and together they helped people, living happy days. Their friendship taught us that no matter how strong the world is, it's important to talk openly. The end.